How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at Studio Series 86 Megatron. Doesn't say Studio Series 86 on the packaging anymore. It just says Transformers the movie. Okay. Maybe that's due to him not being a gun form in this one, but which is fine. You know, I'm not a stickler that it has to be a gun form when the tank actually looks really nice and the robot form looks like almost a masterpiece. So yeah, definitely worth picking this guy up. If you see them out in the wild. I got this off of Amazon, just came in. Looks like they're fulfilling orders now. I snuck in a pre-order a couple weeks ago, but yeah, super happy to have gotten this guy in, and we'll go ahead and crack him open. I think it said yeah, there it is, 54 steps, so hopefully it's not too challenging, not too crazy, but yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a look at the box and packaging and everything up front. And let's take a quick look at the top and the bottom, if there's anything super crazy or important there. So Megatron and just your product information down there. But yeah, that is a cool piece of artwork right there. Just the stoic Megatron, awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and get this guy cracked open, and we'll take a look at the robot mode. All right, so there he is out of package in robot mode, and yeah, just getting to hold him for a second there and get him all set up and everything, man, he feels like a quality mainline Megatron, which is just awesome for to have that with the 86 Prime as well, so you can finally get these two guys together. Again, you can see like the legs are a little bit different than you'd probably prefer a G1 Megatron to be. You can see the tank treads and stuff back there for the alt mode, but you know, some sacrifices got to be had to get this guy out in a legal retail space, at least where I am in the world. But man, I just yeah, I am loving the way this guy looks. On top, for the accessories that you're going to get right out of the box, he does have this attachable the fusion cannon for his arm, and due to him not being a gun and that barrel piece not folding up, this is just a little faux barrel piece that it's got back there that just plugs into his back. On top of that, you're going to get a accessory of the G1 Megatron, if that'll focus in, which isn't too bad for the size of it. It's even got a little Decepticon logo there. It's crazy they can print that on there. That is so small. We'll put that down by him, and you also get his sword that he used in, you know, the one scene in the movie. I can't remember if he used this anywhere else, but it's not coming to mind. Cool, so that's a look at his accessories and stuff. And where is the instruction manual? And here is the instructions. We'll go over that too, just so you have a visual representation of what Hasbro is actually asking you to do. And oh my gosh, this is a big book. So let's just go part by part here, and we'll go over the full instructions in the next section of the video, but just so you guys have a visual reference of what the instructions look like and are asking me to do. Since I am not familiar with this all, and I think I just watched just an overview of it, I am not familiar with this transformation in the least, so we'll be checking that all out together, and if there's any harder, confusing parts, you will see me get confused by them. Well, it looks like kind of a traditional tank transformation, but there might be some, since this guy is looking so close to what masterpiece figures look like now, there might be some cool little gimmicks and stuff in there. Alright, so that is the instruction manual. And before we go on to transformation, let's take a look at the articulation. Saw some really cool things here just out of the box that I like as a leader class figure. Articulating hands, fingers. They're pinned at the knuckle, and they also have a pin in the middle as well, so that's pretty awesome that you get articulated hands on a leader class figure. Very well done. I think they kind of had to, since Prime had those as well, the 86 Prime. But that was also a Commander price point, so you know what, they could have skimped out on this guy if they wanted to, and they chose not to. Not too much hollowness going on there in the forearms. That's pretty cool. Just a little bit underneath the shoulder there, but you know, I guess that's because stuff compresses under the shoulder for transformation. So all the way out to the, almost all the way out to the side with the shoulder. Let's see what we get at the elbow. It's pretty good. Nothing to complain about. And yeah, full rotation of the wrists. With all those, you get the index finger on a hinge, and then the rest are all grouped together. The other one. Head, done. I believe it's a ball joint. 180 on that guy. And this piece here is just plugged in, so you can align that to however you like. As far as the waist, we got, jeez, this thing is just amazing me right out of the box. So I'm hoping transformation is cool too, because man, this is an awesome, this looks like an awesome figure. So the side skirts come out, the front ones, it does not look like they do. There's no hinge or anything there. They're just kind of molded like they do, because the legs are pinned directly into them. So check out the legs, can go complete split, no problem. You've got a rotation at the thigh. You've got that much back at the knee. And I'm assuming they're pretty, yep, you get crazy ankle rockers. And you also get forward, probably due to the transformation, you get forward and back tilt on the ankles as well. So that's what we're looking at for articulation on this guy. Seems pretty dang generous for a leader class figure. Again, don't know about the transformation yet. We'll get into that in the next step, but really ticking all the right boxes so far. So yeah, let's continue on to transformation. Alright guys, let's check out the transformation. I'm going to be going exactly along with the instructions, so yeah, this is going to be one-to-one with that. So just, it says to open up these side panels first, and I believe these hands have to be folded in so that that index finger, just like that, and then you can pop that in. Do it on the other side too. Got this cannon. Just opens up. Go ahead. Put that in. Or fold it. And then do the rest of the. Okay, so now that can just pop into place. So then the other side is supposed to expand out. Both. And it wants us to rotate these, so we're going to give them a spin around. 180. Cool. Okay, next we're going to close these up and just make sure that's aligned straight there. Just going to fold that over. And then do the same with this panel. You can collapse that in. Same on this side. Make sure it's straight there. Fold that over. Boom. Okay, next it says to, you're going to want to show you this joint here. It says to arch these forward, and then it kind of accordion back. There it is. Okay, so yeah, there's definitely a hard snap there when you're doing that. An accordion it. Again, pop it out to hear that little pop, and then accordion that guy back. Cool. All right, then on his back, it says that this whole section, that looks like they unpegged this too, so I'll go ahead and take out that accessory. And this whole back section will untab. Cool. And then there's supposed to be a little thing under here that goes backward too. And then we're going to come back to the front. And it looks like this whole mid ab section here is supposed to come down. Untabs from the side. Sorry, I do not have long fingernails, so some of the stuff is a little bit of a challenge. Okay, next it looks like this whole torso section drops down. Okay, cool. And then we're going to take his head and fold it. Good deal. Alright, next with this chest panel, it looks like this comes down just a little bit, unhinges, and then pops right back to tab in with the head. Cool. Alright, now there is another little panel section underneath here that we need to flip out. It just came on tab, so we'll have to put that all back together. Okay, next we're going to do a 180 on the torso. So those little hinges move there. Okay, and we're going to pop these guys out side. And then it was like, where did one of mine go? And then they rotate back like that. Okay, next part we're going to, okay, you see these little slots here, these tabs on the leg, that just rotates back on there. Okay, well, that's what we got so far. Alright, I had to cut away because this next part I think was actually a misprint in the manual. It tells you that you're supposed to connect this part here, but you're coming from this point, so you have to actually separate that. So just be aware when you get to that point in the manual, you are not connecting things here at the midsection. You're going to pull this apart because the picture shows the opposite of that. And what you're going to do then is you're going to flip this whole assembly around to the other side. Now there's connection points on his crotch piece here, and you see that little connection point right there, and that's where this piece, this tab up top, is going to go. So we're just going to loop that around, make sure it's straight, and you'll just feel it pop in there. So yeah, just be careful when you get to that part because it's a little bit different than it's printed in the instructions. Alright, for the next step we are going to take this whole assembly up here with the arms, and it says this gets rotated 180. Cool. And then for both the arms, we're going to flip these forward. And then they come up. And then also down that top hinge. Alright, we made it to the back of the manual. At this part, these guys, it says they are going to come up and attach together. Just like that, we're going to lock those in hinge. There we go. You see the fusion cannon plugging in there. And we'll fiddle with that in a second. The next step are the legs. They come down here, feet, and they rotate up. And then this whole panel assembly comes up. Okay, once you got that assembly up, then both these legs are going to pop out 90 to the side. And then you're going to take, look like additional feet, but they're just tank treads. It's really sick. And those pop up. Same on the other side. And then this piece, like this whole thing extends. Very cool. So that's what we should be at right now. Kind of looking at the base mode or something there. So the next step here You want to take these treads and flip them out. And these guys, the inside, flip in. And then we close these panels up. Okay, now on the front of the tank treads, these guys open up. And then these little pieces will hinge out. This side, just go jet out, close it back up. Okay, now to complete the treads on each side, we're going to take that piece that we flipped down, and then that's going to come all the way back around. Hinge here. Oh, that aligns better than how I got it. Let's make sure I got that hinge straightened out. There we go. So that should look like that for the hinge to come around correctly. And then it just gets plugged in there. So let's do it correct the first time on this side. Make sure it's down all the way, and then it just wraps around, plugged in there. Okay. Now, these sides will come in to create the tank treads, and we're just going to wrap them around like that. And I can't tell, is it pegging in here? Yep, it's snapping at this point, so we got to look for, okay, so this is going to align with that, and that guy is going to align this one down here. Same on the other side. There we go. I'll make sure we're all properly in here. There it is. Okay. Something wasn't sitting correctly there, so just want to make sure we're all aligned properly before moving on. Okay, now we're going to come around to the back, and it looks like these leg pieces fold back down. And they kind of, it's like they kind of fold or shimmy right underneath here. We're going to flip this guy around, and we're going to fully extend out these feet down here. And then these guys come back. Looks like they peg. Good shot of that peg right there. That slot down there. And these guys in the back are just going to get tucked in. Okay, now what we want to do is just wants you to move these open a little bit like that. So we're going to work the fusion cannon in there. The fusion cannon looks like it has a little compartment on the bottom here. Just use your thumb to get that open. And then this will hinge back. We're actually going to fold that up towards the front. It's got that little gap there. And when you plug this in, it is going to rest right over this assembly here. Just plugs. In theory, it should just plug over all this. Cool, and it does actually snap. All right, now to secure this, there are, it's in the manual, it shows that there are posts here. I have to, I guess I didn't orient this correctly, but we're going to see those tabs, slot. We're just going to slot that right in on the fusion cannon on both sides. And just one extra thing, if you guys get to this part and it's sitting kind of non-aligned like that, that's how mine got, and I'm not sure if I skipped a step or just didn't see it, but there's two little tabs here, and each one of those tabs is going to go into the high point on those shins right there. So we're going to actually, when I folded those legs in, not sure if I missed that part, I'm trying to get this lit, but this has to come back just a little bit on each side. Then that will peg in to those upper parts of that shin, and then that'll sit super flat on there. So that's how that guy's supposed to look. Okay, now if you want that extended tank barrel, I think that actually looks better for the tank. So we'll go ahead and plug that guy in there. Cool. And then for his other accessories, you know, if you want to have Megatron rolling around in tank form with his sword on his side, that can get plugged into any of these ports. And it also shows his little the 86 version of him, the gun form being plugged in up the top here. So yeah, that is the transformation. Give me a second, we'll go ahead and take a look at the alt mode. Alright, here's a look at the tank alt mode for Studio Series 86 Megatron. It's a pretty clean tank mode. I know we took a look at the Fallen before, and I think that tank is a little bit larger in alt mode. Fallen is a big dude, and this Megatron is a little bit skinny in sections, but I think it compresses fairly cleanly and looks pretty nice in the tank mode. Transformation is pretty simple, aside from a couple steps that that shin point of the top of the cannon, the top of the tank pegging into the top of the shins, and then there was that one part where it told you to break off the torso that was actually disassembling from that point instead of reattaching. So just a couple little weird things to look up for in the instructions, but I mean, for the most part, pretty clear, pretty easy to follow, and the tank mode looks nice. I think you are a tank person, this is a pretty accommodating tank form. Just to give you an idea of what the articulation is going to be in this mode, you get the full tank swivel up at the top, and I guess you can angle it a little bit. It doesn't really stay like that just because it's on these, just that, and I wouldn't go too far with it just because that might snap that assembly off, but yeah, you can go a little bit higher, about it. So a little bit limiting there, but you get the full 360, so that's nice. Yeah, but nice tank mode. I think it's pretty accommodating for 86 Megatron. That's the best we can get. You know, they're not going to give us another gun mode anytime soon, so this is the best we're hoping for right now. And I think it's serviceable. I think it's got nice transformation, nice and easy to get through and stuff, and pretty easy to learn once you pick it up. Alright, so next we'll take a look at some comparisons. Alright, and for some comparisons, here he is with the comparison that probably everybody wants to see. The only one that really matters is how he looks with 86 Prime. So there you go. That's how those guys are going to look together, squaring off. I mean, they did this is probably the best Megatron and Prime they have done in a mainline. So yeah, look really nice together. And yeah, you can store the weapon storage back there for Megatron's sword. But yeah, really cool looking, and those guys look great on the shelf together. Some other Megatrons in my collection. This was the last legal one of a gun that they made. And it's a really cool little Megatron. So that's that guy. It's still too big for him to hold, but you know, on a shelf or something that might look cool. Here is some bigger masterpiece ones, scaled ones. This is, I can't remember the name of this guy, but this is the DX9 Megatron, and I keep this guy in gun form. He's a little awkward looking in robot mode. Some proportions are just a little bit goofy there, but yeah, I really like his gun mode. It's very cool looking. And finally, last for comparison, here is this is the knockoff version of the Masterpiece, but I like it just the same. This is the Emperor of Destruction, I believe it's called. And this guy in the back. And the only big issue with this dude is that over time, and you can see like on some of these parts here, he's got yellowing, and it's on a specific, in his shoulders too. Yeah, there. But he's been in a case, no sunlight exposure or anything, and I'm not sure if the official has that issue as well. But yeah, that's I think a very known issue on this guy. So yeah, there's some Megatrons for you. I'd like to go over these eventually in my collection, all my different Megatrons, but just to give you guys a look of how he looks and scales with some of the other ones out there, including Prime and stuff too. Yeah, there you go. And you can't say it's a real Megatron comparison without his actual G1 self. So let's get this guy in here. This is the Encore reissue that was done, I think. I'm trying to think of the year, maybe back in 2012-ish, around there. I can't remember for sure, but yep, that's the only G1 Megatron I own, and I'm not even sure what this Encore version's going for anymore, but that's how he looks next to his old G1 self. Evolved into a tank these days, but we can still appreciate that he was a gun at one point in time. And I mean, yeah, it's not too bad. He doesn't have the the whole arm resting and everything with that gun, but pretty close. Alright, we'll be back with some final thoughts. Alright, just some final thoughts on Studio Series 86 Megatron. I am in love with this guy. He, just going back from the tank mode back into robot mode, everything flows very naturally. Things just go where you think they go. You don't really need the instructions to go backwards or anything. It just kind of flows very naturally to get him back into his robot mode. Everything just kind of aligns and goes back to where it should go back to. The only thing I had a little bit of an issue with was putting his shoulders back. There is just a little tab there. You have to use a little bit of force to pop back into the chest cavity. And once you do that, it's all situated and locked in and everything. But that's really right in here. The only point to watch out for when you're going back into robot mode is you have to use a little bit of force to get that peg to just go into place. Besides that, yeah, awesome figure. I unexpectedly really like the tank mode a lot. And I think just the transformation that he's able to flip between modes very just fluidly makes him a really enjoyable toy. And again, I can't dock points for that gun mode just because, like, the legality and stuff to that, we just can't. I don't think we'll ever see another one of those unless you want to import something or buy a third-party toy. So for what we can get, I think this is like a 9 out of 10 Megatron. It's really, really good and solid. So yeah, Amazon, that's where I got this from, and I think he's starting to hit retail as well. So if you like Megatron, he's my favorite character in all Transformers. Definitely pick this guy up. Awesome figure, very fluid transformation. Comes with a lot of accessories too. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out this video today. Really appreciate it. Remember to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care, guys. Have fun.